Growing up in a small rural Vermont town meant that my household didn't have a lot of money, but we still shared everything we had with our extended family. That included letting my aunt, uncle, and cousin move in with us when they got evicted from their house. Everything was just fine, until the crying started. For 2 years, from age 12 to age 14, I had to share a room with my little cousin Katie. It wasn't all bad, since she was close enough to my age that she wasn't a pest, but I hated the blackout curtains we had to hang so that any outside light didn't keep her up at night. I loved seeing the moonlight filter through the screen in the summer, but I missed that once Katie moved in. It was the second year that they had been living with us when the crying began. At first, I thought it was Katie sobbing quietly when she thought I was asleep, which made sense to me because she had just gotten dumped a few days before. I figured she just didn't want to talk because she was ashamed of being the one that got dumped, or she was still just too heartbroken. Over the next few weeks, however, I began realizing that it was coming from different places within our room at night. I couldn't understand why Katie was continuing to cry so much, and anytime I asked her about it, she just looked scared and shook her head. I thought something else had happened between her and her ex-boyfriend, but she just wouldn't talk to me. I told my mom and aunt about it one night while Katie was out at her friend Bree's house, but they just shrugged it off and said they were going through a rough time. My slightly drunk aunt joked that Katie was probably crying at night because my fashion sense was so bad, and that maybe we should try a nightlight if we were going to be babies. I ignored her and decided that I was done with the whole thing. Things came to a head about a month after I talked to my mom and aunt. I was trying to sleep one night, my CD player earbuds lodged firmly in my ears, when I felt a gentle tug on my pajama top sleeve. I removed the earbuds and turned my face to speak to Katie, even though I couldn't actually see her in the darkness. "What's up?" Instead of an answer, all I got was a sniffle, and before I knew what was happening, Katie had crawled into my bed and curled up next to me. This was so out of character for her that I didn't even question it. I just gently stroked her hair. She quieted down after a bit, and I covered her with my spare blanket because she was so cold. I must have fallen asleep at some point because I woke up to Katie moving around next to me. She leaned over, her soft whisper barely reaching my ears. "Run. The one who got me is coming for you." I had no idea what she meant. I felt her get off the bed, and then everything was still and silent again. I strained my eyes to make her out in the pitch-like darkness, but with the blackout curtains, I couldn't tell where she had gone. "Katie, who's coming? You're creeping me out." She never responded. A primordial growl sliced through the quiet, and a white-hot pain blurred my senses. I screamed as wet, warm liquid ran down my face, and a single hand snaked its way around my throat. I tried to kick out at Katie, but my feet didn't seem to be able to connect with anything. The air was rapidly getting squeezed from my lungs, and no matter how hard I tried, it was impossible for me to tear free of the vice-like hand. I was about to pass out when my door was flung open, and my father stood there. The hand had released my throat, and after a moment of catching my breath, I realized it was just my father and I in my room. He shouted to my mom to call an ambulance. Then he tried asking me what happened. I frantically begged him to search the room, but there was no one else there. There wasn't even a closet to hide in, and the window was locked from the inside. I ended up passing out from losing so much blood, and I also lost my left eye that night. The doctors tried to blame it on a mixture of sleep paralysis, nightmares, and accidental self-harm. But at 120 pounds and no muscles, even my parents didn't believe that explanation. We moved out of that house immediately, since none of us felt comfortable there anymore. On the night I lost my eye, Katie came to see me in the intensive care unit as soon as her mom picked her up from her new boyfriend's house. I was almost asleep in bed, and I remember her leaning over and whispering to me, her voice heavy with sorrow. "I'm so sorry, cuz. I wish I could have been there to help you." Even in my drug-induced, mostly asleep state, it struck me that her whisper didn't sound at all like the one that tried to warn me about the attack. I never had another strange experience again. And when we moved, I even got my own room. Since then, I never fail to make sure there's some sort of light on in the room. And on those rare nights when I hear crying, I always make sure to leave the house for a while. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed today's narration. I want to give a huge thanks to last month's $5 and up patrons: Starless, Tara, William L., Linda H., Christopher B., Hunter D., Letty M., Ronnie K., Lake S., Meg C., Tim D28, Mr. Creeps, and all of the $2 and up patrons on screen as well. All of your support makes these narrations possible, and I appreciate it a ton. If you'd like to join these lovely ghouls, I'd appreciate it if you check out my Patreon page. For just $1 a month, you'll get an exclusive narration that will never, ever be uploaded to my channel. Usually, one a bit too extreme for YouTube. So that's at least one extra video every month for just $1, if not more. For $2 a month, you'll get thanked in the end scroll of every video, and for just $5 a month, I'll shout you out at the end of every video personally. You also get exclusive Discord roles for those perks as well. If you'd like to chat with me for a bit, you can join me on a monthly live stream for just $10 a month and get a signed merch sticker for $25 a month. And if you're in the market for some horrifying shirts and hoodies, you can head on over to my Teespring store in the description as well. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter at @SecondClancy. I want to thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time. Have a good night, everybody. Cheers.